I'm going to look at is just off-ball defense. Can you see that there, Tony? Does that come through?
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Yeah.
All right. So stunting off the ball, it's a huge part of what I teach. Well, what we all teach, but it's often gone underrated. We talk about smart players, smart defensive players, smart offensive players, but the smartness generally comes away from the ball, not necessarily on. So just put a video together here with how guys move off the ball defensively. So clips up there twice, I believe, so you get a chance to see them. But here's the first one. This is Toronto defensively.
Yeah. Nick's doing an incredible job with this. You know, you could see this in all the playoff games. You know, just an incredible job of like stunting and then recovering or switching from that recovery. It's awesome stuff.
Yeah, it's just how connected they are is huge, you know. So this one here, if you watch, it's just ball screen to start off. We'll play through twice. It's ball screen, ball's kicked out. You know, they're looking for the extra pass, don't quite get a turnover. But if you slow it down, it's how connected the whole team is. So you can see, first off, Marcus Gasol is right in the middle there, and he's calling out everything that's happening. So they go ball screen here. And if we just freeze it on the ball screen, the first movement we see here coming in from the weak side 45. Ball screens often too much for me is described as just 2v2. But he's just going to stunt in here just to slow the ball, and it's going to be kicked out to his man. Now the next stunt from the low tag here, number 24, you can see he's stunting at his man, giving him time to recover. And you can see Gasol is actually pointing to the baseline. He's going to stunt his man as well. What you've actually got there, you've got a guy stunting the ball screen, you've got someone stunting the first stunt, and then you've got a stunting the stunt.
Yeah.
So there's three guys all connected in covering for each other, not just worrying about their guy.
It's a really interesting clip, Coach, because actually I brought this into my single high ball screen defense, you know, on a double side, which that was. We started tagging from the strong side. So where number 3 had actually stunted on, we were tagging in. So that player was actually in from that spot anyway. But instead of actually being out there on denial, we were ready to tag the diver. The diver didn't dive there, but that's a great clip. This is a great clip.
And that's the thing. You make a great point there as well. And this is one thing where scout report comes in. Are you in to get out, or are you out to stunt in? And that's what defenders off ball have to realize. If that's James Harden, you're probably in to get out. And you want him to see you in the pin, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, next clip as well. Similar type of thing on the next clip. Wind it on. So here again, kind of ball screen again. We've got a stunt. That's the single side they're looking at. Now, I'm going to talk about offense in a second because this guy may as well be a bottle of milk because he's standing there doing nothing. But you see the stunt here, just to slow the ball, make him pick it up. Yeah. You see 40 is chasing over the top, take away the jump shot, and it just creates indecision for the offense. And now we've recovered. We'll slow it down on the next one. It comes off the ball screen from the single side as well, which is difficult on a double gap. Just slow things up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this one is multiple examples. Let it play through the first time. But then this then starts to talk about how we defend one pass away. So first stunt here, 31. Stunting right now, down onto the drive. Love this. Wide, low, able to load up this foot and bounce back to his man, which is good technically. It comes back out. And you can see here, if we freeze it here, guys who are one pass away, they're not closed stands, face across their guy, denying and full deny. This is obviously a double gap. We can see here they're just open to the ball, able to react to both, but still near the line of the pass, so they could deflect any pass to their guys.
Look at this guy here. I mean, this is an incredible stance because he's so far away from this corner 3, like you're just saying, Coach. You know, but that is a real change now. You know, because I think 2 things. First, especially in the NBA, but here, these are all high-level clips you're showing. The offensive players now have so much ability to get into the lane and to collapse your defense. So the point is to really help and stop that initial thrust and penetration, and then to recover with the speed, and then force another rotation from that. It's really good stuff.
And the ball handlers, they're so good now. He's not going to pick. They're not always going to pick the ball up, pivot, and make a pass. You know, we teach this edge. He's going to zip that off the dribble one-handed as the ball comes back up. But to be in this great position here, you know, and just to create indecision in the ball handler's mind, and then we stunt again off the weak side, anticipating the spin, and it's all just creating indecision for the offense.
Absolutely. Are you really pushing for this season as a team?
Yeah, I'm massive on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge on this. We were last year as well.
Okay. It's great.
This is the type of stuff that would get me excited in a game. If someone goes one-on-one and makes a basket, I'm like, cool, nice shot, whatever. But if someone starts doing this and we're connected, that's what I really like. So I moved on now. This is just, I don't know if you can still see this one, Coach.
Yeah.
This is just fast draw. But just basically what we're looking at here, 1-5 high ball screen. And the red here is the initial stunt, that high tag, some people might call it. The green being the low tag. But a technique we're using now a lot, which you see more and more, particularly in ball screen, is just diving the opposite 45. So actually being active. So one of the rules we have is if you see the back of your man's head off ball, dive to the basket, put pressure on the rim, force the defense to rotate. So you see here, if X2 has to cover 4 here on the 45 dive, and what it actually creates on the next slide here is that huge double gap for 2 to operate in, because X2 has been taken away, X4's got a long recovery. So I just got a few clips now just about how this is, how offensively that can help. This is quite an old one, actually. This is probably 5 years ago from Orlando Magic. But you see the first action here, balls up top, dive the 45. Dive the 45, put pressure on the rim. Next guy moves up, and because he has, from the corner here, because he has a double gap, he's able to catch his man back door. Movement, not allowing the defense to just stunt and you stand still like we saw earlier on the clip. Another one here, this one I think is just one pass away, but again, lots of room to operate. This guy could have been right down in the corner if he wanted. And because we're not connected defensively, we're just worrying about man, the back cut is there. Not great spacing, actually, but the back cut is there because we're not connected defensively. Another one here, dive the 45. But there's indecision now in the defense, so their stunts become very difficult. And there's breakdown.
I think it's really important clips that you're showing here, Coach, because you know a majority of younger coaches at least have some flow type action in their playbook at this moment, and what you've showed there is basically not often the 4s are diving, but the wings are, and that means that you know that's a kind of flow action. Those back cuts are mostly flow actions, reverse to the big man, back cut, and then dribble handoff for the lift player. So that's great stuff there. So this here is, you know, how are we defending that action? I'm assuming is what you're trying to get to.
Yeah, this is that this is how you can really put pressure on a team that stunts well. So they may stunt well, but if you're spaced well and you can put pressure on the rim with these dives,
right,
force positions, not many teams can easily switch out of that.
No, definitely not. Absolutely.
We're talking about that flow action, and I'm sure James is going to talk about this when you have him on. But when you have second side, maybe you've got the 2 and 3 on that side. The initial thing is just switch. It's a 2 and a 3. Don't worry, we'll switch on the dive.
Yep.
If the dive is putting pressure on the rim and trying to score, you know that it makes things extremely difficult. So just 1 or 2 more clips, Coach. Not a lot more. Similar type thing. A lot of room to play. We're not connected on the weak side. Ironically, this is Toronto, who we said were great on the last one.
Marc Gasol could have been there much earlier on that help. Yeah. Which I think now they are really zoning up on almost every action. It's so big and so long on their help. So yeah, that's a great cut.
I think I've got maybe one more clip here, maybe 2. Last one here, bit of a wedge screen before to loosen up X5. But this is even on the drive. This is even late, this one. So it's quite a deep ball screen. You're inside the 3-point line. And just that action, just dive the 45. We've got a lift out of the corner. There's indecision. We can't cover both. So it does seem like maybe a small thing. Maybe it's not something that is necessarily, it's not a romantic side of the game that people maybe focus on a lot. But the stunting off ball defensively, but also how to defeat that offensively it can change your whole offense if you get it right.
Okay, so how are you drilling that into your team? Are you putting that into some 2-on-2, 3-on-3 ball screen actions, or is that coming out shell first of all? Some sort of framework. How are you building those skills, especially the stunt skills defensively?
If we get to, so our Wednesday is generally breakdown day. So that's a chance for us to really focus on this stuff. Once we've got sort of 6 weeks into the season, those Wednesdays have pretty much covered every action you're going to see.
Awesome.
Okay, this a lot of pin downs and a lot of staggers. Sure. Okay, so do this and we'll do this, and then there's no need to cover that a whole time. It's just making small adjustments. So what I'd normally do is we would do this small sided. This could be 3v3 restricted area. I'm not a huge fan of shell drill, not traditionally anyway. So what we might do shell drill wise, there's a couple of ways I do it. It's okay, set up in your traditional shell, but actually when the ball's in the corner, we're not going to let it out. We're going to full deny. So we start the ball in the corner where we can load to the ball and be mega aggressive, as opposed to just looking at our movement. When the ball's up top, we change, we become more open. We're not going to deny hand across the face, top to wing. No. We're going to play more open basketball, and that's when the stunting comes in. So yeah, I'm not a great fan of drills in isolation, to be honest. I would rather play very, very short reps and talk about it, then more reps again and keep the tempo up, rather than isolating drills. But of course, those breakdown sessions are very important for that.